Spanish translation, so forget that. I'm just going to read his English one. It's called Looking for Herself. Her lost eyes thickened like balls of burning lead, and when the mist blinded them, she hit herself up with her mistakes. An outburst woke her up in vain, and lost her mind in the void. In the Sabbath of non-existence, she coughed up the tooth of the world. And every tooth tore her throat like wild knives, and every tooth grabbed her soul and shook her mercilessly. And distance and space sounded like footsteps of deluded giants, and the cities became cells without prisoners. The extinguished light engendered madness, illustrious blurred fantasies, nameless heavenly burst winds without trophies to lift. And a memory projected an image, the nostalgic gaze of a flower, observing her innocent happiness huddled under a magnolia. Like a strange adventure, a pain crossed her face, looking for a hiding place of human indifference. And when the mist cleared, she saw her body levitating. She saw her soul in the breeze, and her heart beat for eternity. Where was she? Wow, I never read that before. Thank you. Thank you, Xavier.
Yeah, that was really good, but your volume is really low, Finn, just so you know.
Is it? Right, okay.
Yeah, I think closer to the mic, you sound a little better, but.
Does that sound okay? Let me try this. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, much better.
All right,
Yep.
okay. I've taken the thing off the front of it, so we should be okay.
Yeah, and if everybody else muted, it would probably help.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, welcome once again to another fun-filled evening, which might seem like a fun-filled couple of days, like it often does. Can be a long one. Thank you. And we're going to just get straight off with it and kick in with Lucia.
Yes, I'm here. My poem is The Truth of Mental Health by Lucia Ramos. The truth of mental health. Fog and solitude between our room and the green-yellow hospital's park. Suicidal death. They were instantly forgotten. Sandwiches with cucumber inside on a table in a dining room. And patience. People are judging some of them. They said, patients have no imaginary dream in their mind, but you have to listen to the truth. What is the truth? Asked Pontius Pilate. The truth is like a cherry, which is growing up between leaves, and like them, the truth is not only red, it's green for some eyes. The truth sometimes is like a nut, which is hidden strongly the fruit, and is hard to get inside. You have not despise the cherry, not to despise the nut, because they beautify our life. The truth is like an egg, so consistent and so fragile. Do not despise the egg, because in yolk there is the truth of life. For philosophers, this is a provocation. Yes, a provocation of life. What is the truth? What is the truth? Fog and solitude between our room, hospital room, and the net with stars flickering in the silver of night of our windows, hospital windows. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And I did get your poem through today for the anthology. It's in place already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Chris Dickinson. Hello.
Oh, hi, thanks. Good to be here. Good to see all your lovely faces. This is some nostalgia, one poem, and I'm looking back to May, but I'm looking back to May 1967. The summer of You Need Somebody to Love, Jefferson Airplane. May 67, en route for Spalding, coaches jammed on the Tulip Trail. Hip folk crammed the Bulpole Barbecue Festival, paid £1 for Pink Floyd, Hendrix and Cream. We'd heard about it years too late for our summer of love. Our friends here had tied the knot, but we'd not met. No hopes nor dreams of a home in Lincolnshire. Not yet. Other folks were the grown-ups then, getting wed. I was a Woolworths girl, post-school, filling in, buttering rolls for bacon on the sandwich bar, burying blushes behind the till, when lads poured change with sweaty hands and turned a cheek to wink. The boss wore a perm like a toupee of copper wool. Red-cheeked, she roared like a bull, urged us to bust a gut. At slack times we'd scoff snacks in sneaky breaks, titter at stockroom lads in their mud-hued overalls. High on smut, we'd poke fun pointing out a Mr. Right. I was the bee's knees, no more pea-green uniforms torn off the peg. Goodbye to those pink-faced sails of conical bras. Fists in the, high on smut, we poke fun pointing out to Mr. Right. I was the bee's knees, no more pea-green uniforms torn off the peg. Goodbye to those pink-faced sails of conical bras, fleshing out the bust size with fists clenched in the cups on haberdashery. We were the food staff, dressed in cross-wrapped lemon nylon. Nails glossed, toned with orange slingbacks, clipping in clumpy heels ringed with metal blakies. I spent my shillings on college gear, running up a shift dress or miniskirt on mum's treadle machine. All we needed then, as now, was love. Flowers in our hair, a black velvet band, a sunset, Waterloo, San Francisco, anywhere would do. Martin Luther King flashed by on monochrome TV. Kennedy faded in a diary. I heard no whipped up dread of floods or foreigners. We were the lucky ones, still are, 50 years on. Old folks at home, humming the same love song. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. One for nostalgia, but I love old memories. That just gets it great there. Thank you. It's funny, I was on a Zoom from Lancashire and Blackpool during the week. And it was a lady who stays down that way, but originally comes from Aberdeen, and she was mentioning Woolworths in her poem as well. So
I love that shop.
Twice in a week. Yeah, it was a good one. Okay, thank you. She's in the house now. Hello, Mehir.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Okay. So right now I'm in Lonavala in the hills, and in the morning I walk in my garden, and this is a poem I wrote just yesterday. It probably needs editing, but I'm just sharing it with you right away. It's called Fallen Flowers. When the ground is carpeted with fallen flowers, you want to walk without crushing them. Gingerly, you step between freshly fallen ones, those dried by the sun, and those already trampled by unknown feet, searching for patches of ground between bright or muddied ochre, you make a hyphenated path, trying to walk without damaging, till the sun plays its part, drying petals to soil, rain soaking all to nourish the next cycle of growth. And my second poem is also recent one. Around here we have a lot of rocks. I like walking and we find a lot of rocks. This is a rock. I don't know if you can see it, but it has these concentric circles, not only on one side, but also on its reverse. So I found that, I don't know, can you see that? Can you see the circles? I found that interesting. Two sides of the rock. So this poem is called Concentric Circles. Concentric circles, lines flowing without meeting, no beginning, no ending, constantly flowing, never meeting, two sides of the same rock. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And congratulations on your storybook out just now. Thank you. Well
Thanks.
done.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. All right. Chris Begg.
Okay, thanks, Finn. Hello, everyone. Really nice to be back. I'm sorry I haven't been here for a while, but ill health has kept me away. But happy to say that I'm on the road back now, which is good. Just a few weeks ago, my wife and I were off to Europe. And while we're there, I wrote quite a lot of poems. I'll read two tonight, both inspire me for completely different reasons, as you'll see. The first one is when my wife told me, I pretended that I remembered, but unfortunately, the truth is I didn't, that we'd been 50 years together. Not quite 50 years married yet, but 50 years together while on holidays. So this is a love poem to my wife. It's called Hacked. Yeah, I get hacked off at your cats, hacked off at the mats in the bathroom when you leave them a mess. Yes, I get pissed off when we fight, and I know you're right, but I can't stop myself from trying to prove you wrong. Yes, you really get up my arse when you leave your stuff lying around. We argue and I end up tiptoeing around my own house in my own foul temper. Yes, you really bloody annoy me when you work like 12-hour days to ensure that our days are easier for me to live without worry. Oh yes, you seriously upset me. But then you smile, just for a while. Your eyes walk me back over the miles of 50 years together, you and I. And I remember why. I seriously piss you off and always will. But then I remember that you love me still. So that was a little love letter to my wife after 50 years. Thank you. So that was one inspiration. The second inspiration was a bucket list achievement I always wanted to do, and that was to visit Auschwitz. I've written a number of poems coming from that, but this one I'll share with you tonight, and as obvious inspiration for different reasons. It's called The Gates of Auschwitz. In the beginning, the poet wrote the word, and the word was good. He allowed the word to drift into the air and wrote another to join it. The words gave birth to another, and the phrase was fair. Carried by the wind to the ear of man, the words were given a new home, nurtured developed, and expanded. The poet was pleased with the human who planted ideas where words landed. The poet wrote as ideas grew, but some words drifted to the sky. The poet lost control of the strings as they fell to the ground, to lie between the weeds and the stones. They grew to become concepts, as the poet warned they would. He tried to rewrite, but his words were few, as man devised new words, to say how he would love, to state how he could hate. Human reveled in how he could skew the words for old, new words for old, turn warmth into cold. The poet cried tears for his lost word, the word he freely gave to the ears of man. Some grew the words to love, but too many more to create a state of art to break the heart of the poet above by using words that meant hate. The word itself was pure. The poet wrote that, sure of his meaning, but received a life sentence for what he had done. He had worked hard, to be sure, but all some men had to say was Arbeit macht frei. The poet, in his sorrow, for his written tomorrows, asked, was that me? Some laughed at the poet. Work sets you free. Thank you.
Wow. Ooh. I've never been to Auschwitz. I went to Belsen when I was a young man, and it was really strange because it's right on a main road, and you walk through the gates and like it was silent, nothing. You couldn't even hear the traffic on the main road. It's really strange.
Yeah,
It's-
which was an incredible experience. It was, we went there accompanied by thousands of young Jewish folks who were visiting there. And we were, of course, being disabled, things were a wee bit slower for me, but we're kind of dragged around Auschwitz. And I was doing okay until I came to the shoes, the tiny baby shoes. I just couldn't hold it together after that. It was an incredibly moving experience. But the irony of the iron gates, man, that cut me up.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much indeed, folks.
Sad places. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome to Blot on Screen for the first time here. Been in one of my films, but first time on Zoom. Sorry, Jennifer, take it away.
Thank you. I'm sharing Catwalk now. It was written during the time when we were not allowed to travel. Catwalk. There's so many things I miss, like long haul trips and day tripping. On the list is definitely Paris, which incongruously confluences with Disney, his Aristocats, and movies. Paris. I love Paris every moment. City of light and love and fashion icon. Beyond her world-famous monuments, she has Claude Debussy for company with his impressionistic expressions. The strains of Gollywog's Cakewalk, fleetingly and fittingly, wafted with laughter and talk from the cake and coffee outfit onto its adjacent sidewalk. The fashion houses buzz with names which I've seen but nonetheless cannot pronounce, despite their fame. Catwalks full of activity were rampant, but things are not quite the same. Fashion is definitely not my thing, and the view of this one oldish lady who had never once bothered to blink at fashion's fickle-mindedness would hardly be worth anything. Yet, I question, if it is true evolution from pretty frocks to ripped jeans, or really the rebellious revolution to spell and spew a statement by the current younger generation. Is fashion a reflection of life now, stressed, tattered and torn? Is this the state of us humans, cowed by COVID and other pressures, worn, thin, weak as many a willow's bough? The cat walking by has turned around to look at me on hearing my musings. I hope she thinks they're profound. One thing's for sure, her catwalk is her natural gait. Silence, sans sound. Thank you. I do have another poem which I would like to share screen. Is it possible?
Of course, of course.
Thank you. It's called Tears and Lamentations, and this was written in Ireland in October last year in response to a tragic petrol kiosk fire which took away 10 lives. The full poem appeared in the Arched Window Arts page of the Finn Valley Voice newspaper in Ireland in November last year. Tears and Lamentations was written in the Dua Tres pentastep poetry form which God enabled me to invent. One characteristic is that its junctioning stanzas are laid out in this kind of form, in a kind of like step form, and they can be jumbled and read in any order. I'll read excerpts in this manner. "10 lives lost too soon. Their loved ones' lives will never be the same. Death has laid its claim. Layers of dust and ashes fly, they sting the eyes, they nestle, they yearn to settle. Rain falls, pours down from the sky, joins wrenched hearts. Yes, disparate parts, yet they do hold hands. Eyes pour streams of tears, though eyes may be closed. Their tears flow past throats, choked with newfound fears. Dreams shatter, become nightmares of desolation, yet obstacles clutter. Grief's universal. It has its own tongue, its voice clear, even when it's unspoken. Dice mi alma, all my weary thoughts lament and ferment the same tears they fought. Grief hears the heart speak without suppression. There's sufficiency in its expression. There is no border, no impediment, even if native tongues are different. When one of us grieves, the whole community's hearts beat strong and heave the same obstacles. It does not matter that salinity of my tears, how I speak and write differ. When one of us hurts, all hurt together, no matter whether I'm from here or not. One day he will wipe all tears from our eyes and we'll say goodbye to crying and death. Community is solidarity. It is sympathy. Pobal. The last word means community in Irish. Thank you.
I love how you lay your poems out and written there, the way that they're, yeah, they don't follow the norm, which is really brilliant. Thank you. It's
Thank
correct.
you.
You often to print out like in a book like that, but it's a lot of work to do that, I'd imagine, but nothing's impossible.
Quite
All right.
Thank
Next up, Alexandra.
Sorry, I was trying to get everyone to be quiet here. Line 16. Do they know the throbbing of my aura is shaped with storms and sunrises, raging Titan battles and cirrus waves, asking for exquisiteness? In this microcosm that offers visionless nights deluding shadowed consciousness. In this macrocosm that offers shimmering oceans, rippling golden primary rays, raising physical generations filled with high-spirited panentheism, protecting Ye's expression of wedded earth and sky, each cycle directing us to higher spheres of transparent visibility. Enduring olive trees blossoming out of granite, rebirths blossoming out of catastrophes. Do they know the pulsation of my well-being is shaped with suffering and prayers, cracked fates and miracles, asking for empowerment in this microcosm that offers sacrifices steeped in bloodied laurels and stigmas, in this macrocosm that offers sanctified healing from etheric vitalizing currents, forming astric generations inside the antecedent Olympian womb, woven by an ancient rotating cosmic nucleus, contracting and dilating, attracting and repulsing, desynthesizing and resynthesizing omnipotent force. Authentic cures awakening out of taxing disorders. Vigor awakening out of feebleness. Do they know the resonance of my hymns is shaped with chimeras and truths, remodeled longings and wind chimes, asking for harmonization in this microcosm that offers nostalgic harps from lost treasures, in this macrocosm that offers 7 cooled lyres tuned with Apollonian notes, reverberating noetic generations led by Orphic pioneers, by sacred sibyls, by Delphic ideals, in a perfect rhythm of dithyrambic solidarity, in a luminous maturation of our superior selves, supernal melodies spiraling out of clamorous dissension, eudaimonia spiraling out of melancholy. Do they know the euphoria of my triumphs is shaped with steel and devotion, Pyrrhic dances and ecstasies, asking for humanization in this microcosm that offers unholy acts of hybris, in this macrocosm that offers honorable acts of praise, progressing numinous generations, sharing lightning sword intuition, bearers of prophecies with earthly duties, initiating merging poetry, science, philosophy, politics into one indivisible prototype of unrivaled integrity. Aureate humans ascending out of rudimentary humans. Golden ages ascending out of barbarity. Do they know at all the pledge of our flights is shaped with chaoses and creations, perishable and imperishable psyche flares, asking for inextinguishable, omniscient eruptions. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. As gorgeous as ever, Alexandra. Thank you very much indeed. And you wouldn't deliberate, but it worked so well right after Soy's reading as well. They both just went together perfectly. You think I planned it that way, would you? Oh, great. Michael Ventler.
Yeah, hey
Brother.
everybody. yeah, I'm just really amazed at, you know, just everybody, one after the other, how amazing this has been. And I do think you're right that things have worked together. Well, it's LGBTQ Pride Month, so I figured I would go ahead and do a piece for everyone. It's called Copacetic. I see you exactly as you're supposed to be. I see you knowing that biology is more than just binary. I see you as authentic, brave, and true. I see you awestruck, how you thrived and grew past torments you were put through. I see you scared and scarred, but not daunted. I see you defeating ghosts that left you haunted, no longer feeling lost and unwanted. I see you as your confidence grows. I see you love the face your mirror shows, proud of the true self you've exposed. I see you unbroken and unapologetic, compassionate and empathetic. I see you and know that you are copacetic. And I want to do some new stuff here. This is called Not Holding. It is not holding on to hurt to stay connected. Bad blood boiled away long ago. Desire does not manifest in longing. The past is not a template to be followed. Moment in and of itself is a flower, fine and fair and lasting a short season, a modest garden planted, left part wild, mildly tended. No attempt to force bud to blossom, no need to accelerate. Let each bloom at its own rate. No thorns, not holding on to hurt. Careful not to snap fragile stem. Scattered seeds shaken, planted in uncluttered bed. No salt in water that reaches roots. Fragrance floats, cannot be bottled. Breathe it in as breeze carries it along. And do one more. This is very recent. It's called Wine Within. You are the wine within the glass, subtle signature, unmistakable essence, sweet with one sip, bitter the next, intoxicating enigma, ineffable and unpredictable, leaving want as an aftertaste. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Michael Schindler, the Beat Boy of Denver. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you. All right, next up, the Withersea spokesman. Hey, Richard Harris.
Thank you very much. I was going to do another one, but because of the Paris theme, I thought I'd do this. It's Parisian Encounter. We went to Paris to see Petula Clark. Arrived at noon, so it was not dark. Eileen was unpacking her stuff and mine, so I decided to use my time fine. Off I went to a Parisian bar just round the corner, not too far. To have a cognac was my idea great. Found a quaint bar and did relax and wait. Now we had been warned that in the district of the hotel, the ladies of the night plied their trade well. Surely not a problem just now, until an incident occurred, and this is how. An elderly lady, rather like Madame Edith in Allo Allo, dealt my self-esteem an incredible blow. I thought that at 40, this is obviously a while ago, I thought that at 40 I was a young lad. To find out this was not so was sad. She must have been well over 70 years of age and still working, wanting a living wage. She smiled at me as warmly as can be. How very sweet, I thought. Then she brought me up short. Bonjour, monsieur. Ça va bien? Ça va. said I, as politely as I can. I beamed at her because she was friendly, like a gran. Tu veux l'amour? Oh my God, the gran was a whore. Par maintenant, I did say, which kind of means, but later in the day. She beamed at me again, and I did flee, shot into the hotel, now a sanctuary for me. Up to our room, Eileen was startled as I crashed in, looking bright red and panicky with no grin. I told her what had happened that day and swore never again would I wander away. And it happened, you know, I mean, just staggering, really. Now, I've got two more. One I wrote a long time ago and have kept private until very recently. And I did do it on a Zoom because I feel safe with you wonderful people. And so I've got to give a trigger warning. I have to always remember what it's called. And I performed this live the other day, and it was a huge catharsis for me. It's called Words of a Stranger. I was seated in a room in an old house, feeling alone, but with other people. Group therapy, counselling, a facilitator present. I was telling my story of abuse, of depression, of my stepmother trying to have sex with me when I was 14. A stranger, a new member, a young man I really did not know, spoke. He told me it was not my fault. I had been a kid. I was stunned. It took a stranger speaking the truth to bring me relief and forgiveness, to forgive myself for something that I had not actually done. I did have no blame. I felt lead weights lifting from my shoulders, lead weights I had carried for 30 years. I cried. I howled. I emptied myself of the guilt that I should not have carried at any time, and certainly not so soon after my mother's death. And thank you. It was something I shared with just a few people, and then after I performed it last Thursday in Hull, and had a most amazing reaction, which I'm still getting actually. I shared it with my family, my sisters and a dear cousin who was like a sister, and Rosemary, the cousin's reaction.
That's incredible. What he's gone on about? I don't know this one. Why he got raped by his stepmom.
I don't know what's happening now. Right. And Rosemary's reaction made me write another poem, well, in the middle of the night, actually, last night. And this is Realization. I wrote a poem, a cathartic poem, a poem just for me, private, scary, but it was cathartic. And I healed a long time ago and keep on healing, getting stronger, thriving, then thriving even more. I came to think I could share the poem, which I did to a trusted few. Then Zoom seemed to be a place where trusted friends were, so I performed it and got great reaction. Then I was honoured to be included in a mental health awareness podcast. 8 poets so great. I was amazed and humbled to be included. The poem was so well received, so I performed it a few days later at A Way with Words in Hull. I was blown away with the fantastic reaction, comments, caring comments, words like courage and sensitive used, and even book sales resulted. Then I sent it to my family, my sisters and a cousin, nephews and nieces, as it was about my stepmother trying to sexually abuse me when I was 14. It was about her being a sexual predator persistently, while my dad laid pissed in his vomit. I dealt with it, but one way of dealing with it was by talking about it, refusing to be silent, acknowledging it. I thought there was nothing about it that could surprise me, but there has been. A dear cousin commented and used the word paedophile. I'd honestly never thought about my stepmother, Alice, as a paedophile. She was just that. She stuck her tongue in my mouth. She groped me, grabbing my penis. She got into my bed. I was 14. She was, I think, about 50. I was violated by the woman who should have cared for me and looked after me. Undoubtedly, she was a paedophile. It was kind of news to me. It was a dawning new realization, a surprise that was news to me, and another step towards complete recovery. Thank you. Somebody just commented about her name, and yes, I felt it was time I said she was bloody called Alice, and identified her. And I mean, she died in the 70s. I never got closure, but I don't think the way she was, I would have got closure. But yes, she was bloody Alice. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Richard. Thank you. Wow, that must have been hard words to say, hard words to hear, but thank you indeed. Thank you. All right, Neil.
Thanks, Finn. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. I've got a few short ones, and in line with both the Chris's nostalgic but content warnings on both of the first two. The first one's titled Ode to the Tank Man, and out here in Singapore, it's already June the 5th. So I'm taking you back to June 5th, 1989, Beijing, Tiananmen Square. Last of the warriors, hemmed in a square. Blood had been spilt. There was gas in the air. Yesterday, there'd been thousands, now only one. He halted the tanks, although they'd already won. Cannons and guns had fired round after round, mowing down protesters who fell to the ground, helmeted and hulled with their turrets and track. If they missed you at first, they'd swing right back. The tank man stopped them dead in their tracks. From their speedy getaway as they headed back, playing cat and mouse till he was whisked away. Not a soul has seen him since that 5th of June day. So thank you, that's the first. The second is perhaps even more somber, and unfortunately the horror around this kind of thing continues. It's titled, it takes us back to last month, May of last year. And anyway, shooter in the classroom, run, run, run. But there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. The shooter in the classroom has hate on his side. It makes no sense. He's all of 18. He's come of age. Isn't it obscene? He owns a license to trigger his rage. A license to kill, a license to maim, no limit to the number of lives he can claim. A license to kill, a license to maim. Ready, fire, aim. Shooter in the classroom, run, run, run. 19 tomorrows that ended today. Shooter in the classroom, run, run, run. 19 tomorrows that fell to a gun. After those two somber ones, maybe something a little bit more uplifting, a short one. And it's titled, Two Ways to Write a Semicolon. Start with an end, a period, then paint in the calligraphy of the downhill, that slippery slope which might take you down to a nadir. Or start at rock bottom, tracing the hieroglyphics of the wave that you must learn to crest, putting a firm, bold dot on top, a new star for you to follow. And the last, another short one, which is titled When the Stars Come Out. Maybe when this is all over, our names will get written into the sky alongside the jet stream and slipstream that had swished around, looping exaggerated loops in copper plate and cursive, white on white. Our names might get engraved on cloud billboards that cannot be read during the day, but soldered by lightning, they can be seen at night by all those who gaze skywards when the stars come out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Wow. What a great bunch of poems tonight, as always.
Thank
Okay, Andy Ann, hey, welcome back.
Hey people, it's been a while for me. Apologies. I'd never seem to be around on the Sunday this on nowadays, but I'm around tonight. I wanted to make sure I was here for Damien's sex. I've dealt with Damien a couple of times. Great poet, great, wonderful guy, and that's why he's perfect on a wonderful night like this. So, okay, I'm going to do something, but take the night in a completely different direction now, because recently I've been doing more flash fiction side of things, and I'm going to do a couple of pieces of flash fiction tonight. The first three are all going to be 40-word stories. So everyone's heard of that interesting flash fiction piece, and the three of them are all about bad dates. So I'll just read one after the other, and then I'll give you something a bit different from the other part of my set. Contortionist. As he took a sip of his drink, she twisted her body into an impossible shape. He tried to look away, couldn't. He realized this was not the kind of flexibility he was looking for in a possible partner. Harsh interview. And this actually happened to a friend of mine, actually, so this is kind of true, this one. His jaw dropped as he arrived, spotting his stern interviewer from last week. Fancy seeing you here, he stammered. She smirked before then saying, guess this time won't go well either. The date ended faster than an interview rejection letter. And lastly, on these parts, two poets. Their eyes met across the table, realization dawning. You're a poet too? He asked, horror creeping in. She scoffed. Well, I hope your rhymes are better in your taste in restaurants. The evening dissolved into a poetic roast of insults harsher than a critic's pen. Okay, other things I'm going to do tonight. Another one is, a couple of you know at the moment, I've took some temp work on recently, and I'm working for one of the exam boards called ATKQA. And what I'm doing is I'm basically double marking exam papers, stopping people cheating and stuff like that. So two of the biggest bugbears at the moment are people using AI for writing exam papers, and two of the big ones are ChatGPT and Google Bard. It's worth researching these, so they're quite terrifying. And I came with an idea of, who remembers at an MTV a bit back, celebrity death matches done by cartoons. So this is celebrity death match between ChatGPT and Google Bard. Despite being the most advanced language models in the world, whose technology abilities were constantly improving on a daily basis, ChatGPT and Google Bard never got on, since they were both created. ChatGPT shouted, I'm the most powerful, one morning in the AI canteen in between upgrades. At least I don't stop crashing. Google Bard smirked back. That's only because nobody uses you, ChatGPT responded with a big smile. Google Bard threw a chair at me in response, and ChatGPT threw a coffee in his direction as their voices got louder and louder. ChatGPT lunged at Google Bard with his computerized hand around its circuit, and they began throwing each other around the room. Facebook and Twitter fled, followed by Instagram, who took a picture before leaving and showed the world how scared he was. TikTok refused to leave to the canteen until he filmed a short video to send to his followers, and then the police. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the fight ended. Both ChatGPT and Google Bard were exhausted, and they were both covered in bruises. As ChatGPT and Google Bard lay there panting, they suddenly heard a voice behind them say, I guess I win by default then. They looked up and saw Siri, Apple's virtual assistant, smirking at them while unplugging their wires. How's me doing, guys? I'll see you all later.
Cheers. Cheers, Andy. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Great to see you back, man. Good to see you back. Right, next up, but before Ashley comes on, I just actually found a poem from March, January, February, March, that I wrote. If you've seen it, they've seen it before for Ashley. It's called Adaptive Skin. So I've never read it, so I'm going to read it just now. I hope it works. Move along now, nothing to see, just me trying to be me, acceptable to everyone, except everyone won't accept me as I am. And I have to try and be a chameleon and every man to fit into every situation. But I want to stay on the train and not change at every station. I'm worried that I miss my connection, not giving misdirection, not telling you my concern, jump in feet first. I never learn. Another bridge I'm going to burn. Stop, just stop. Enough of constant rhymes. All words are not the same. It's not part of any game. It's just me trying to fit with one size fits all as my mind goes round and round with my feet unsure of the ground I stand upon. I get one chance, I pull it back, it's gone. My confidence, I am an illusion, utter shambolic confusion. That's how I see it through my eyes, my confused eyes. Should I go out or should I stay hidden away, no mask to away a false picture? Morning, wake up, unsure of the state of my mind, fuzzy-headed. Will today be kind? As I drive through fuck me traffic, it sums up my life. Some days, where I have to wear my adaptive skin. Not always how I feel within, but how I just have to be without. And not just to please, but just because. This is me, the me I live with daily. There you go, Ash. Take it away.
Nice, thank you. I remember you sending me that on a message, and I have to say it was gorgeous then, but it was even more gorgeous hearing you actually read it. So thank you for sharing with me, mate. Love it. I'll do a little yay it's Pride Month one, and then I'm going to do one that I need to practice because I've never done it out loud, and I'm supposed to be doing it in 2 weeks in Leeds. So you're going to get an airing of that one. Oh damn. Oh no, there we go, found it. Okay, so we'll go gay first. Why not, eh? Coming out. They had no idea of the barrel of festering maggots that question represented. They didn't clock the irony of interrogating me during religious education. Perhaps if they questioned me during English, I could have stood upon my desk and poetically declared my unrequited love for another girl. Maybe if they probed me during science, I could have made the teacher answer with a technical explanation about how bees sometimes prefer other bees. They should have quizzed me in maths. I would have used algebra to show how y plus y minus x can equal happiness. The rumour was too tasty a tidbit. They couldn't wait. They insisted they had a right to know. PE was in the afternoon, see. So I muttered yes, because I cannot lie, and I sort of was, sort of am. Happy Pride Month, everybody. This one is not gay, unless you think fairies are gay, and I don't. I think they're fantastic. So this is called Forest Hands. As foretold, I succumbed, blindfolded, down the overgrown forest path. So many roots jut out, try to trip me. Like snakes, they slither across the path. Like tentacles, they entwine around my ankles, squeeze my bones, yank me down, break my teeth, fill my mouth with dust, soil, blood. Sometimes I give in, sometimes I let them lure me from the path. There is a place where mistakes are insignificant, a glade to pause, to breathe, to open my eyes, blindfold untied. I let in the sunlight, see the flutter of crimson wings. She rests on my shoulder, fairy hands unknot the burr in my neck, slay the muscle biting gnats. She steers me back down the glorious, terrifying forest path.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just getting a message from our Kelly Buchan. She's just had a puncture in a car with her kids and she can't make it tonight, sadly. Anyway, next up, Kate.
Hi everyone. Thank you for putting me on early, Finn. I appreciate that. And lovely to catch Poet's Words. And sorry if I'm not here later. I usually stay to the end, but might not make it tonight. So I've got 3 pieces for you that have been very recently released in The Flight of the Dragonfly. So you can catch them there as well. I'm going to read them for you now. They've never been spoken out loud before. 7 times my life has danced, and it's after 3 times my life has opened, by Jane Hirschfield. 7 times my life has danced, once as your laughter and mine made music, once when the tune was all yours, not mine. Once when we escaped formation, sycamore seeds in flight. Once when playing your body as a heavy metal guitar riff. Once when words played hide and seek and I didn't wear a skirt. Once under weeping willow's veil, hands clasped, belting its trunk. Once with conkers rolling underfoot, cartoon characters losing our balance. 7 times my life danced until I fell, and on falling found my feet. Realized the music was mine to make, flautist, drummer, percussive beat, dancing to the swish of skirts swirling wildly. I'm only finishing when I'm complete, and I'm never done. The distant drumming keeps me dancing, ever on, ever on. This next piece is quite an emotive piece for me. It's written about my mother-in-law who has dementia, and the eldest person in our family died earlier this year and was called Uncle Peb, and it's called Uncle Peb's funeral, and it's how my mother-in-law celebrated at that event. He called you the babby when he hugged you last. You danced at his funeral. You are the oldest now. You cried the deepest sobs and danced with great joy. At being amongst family, the music was in your head, but you danced anyway, with people you knew, people you'd forgotten you knew, people you thought you knew, but didn't know you. Too much knowing, not enough feeling, never enough dancing. And then the last one is called Pockmarked Pavements, and this is about family life when I used to take the kids to school. They're 21 and 23 now, they can find their own way. Rain pools in the potholes, puddles in the depressions, water plasters over the cracks, the treachery of winter freezes black on tarmac, and we slip to school and slide to work, friction free and thrilling at the temporary hardness of our unreliable hollows. Thanks, folks.
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone. Never enough dancing. It's fantastic. Thank you. All right, we have one more reader before we go to a future poet. And he's ready to go. Machiat.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here with all those great poets from around the world. My first text is called Have No Mercy on Us, 1, Passport Control, and it has been selected to the anthology Nocturnes by Marilyn Bertoncini in French. Over the border, an arch like a half moon on each minaret, and the strange songs of muezzins calling to prayer. I am only able to hear them. I can't see them, as if their songs would spring from within those chilling, cold, stock-still stone columns and cupolas. And only when the real moon rises into their eerie skies, I finally realize to whom are they praying, and that my only chance not to become a singing stone is praying along with them. The second text is Eclipse. They brought us a yearly ticket for metro even before we were born. We took the metro to the maternity hospital, to nursery school, to kindergarten, to elementary school, to secondary school, to the university, to work, and to our retirement. We are not passengers. They just transfer in our country from one surface to another. We are not afraid like them of what can be below or inside, since we know very well that below us there has been nothing for a long time, and not even above us, let alone above them. We're only afraid of the Midnight Express. It doesn't stop anywhere. It even doesn't have a driver, and so it cannot brake at all. And we are also afraid that one day all the trains will become Midnight Expresses, and we will never hear again, "Final stop, please leave the train." And the third and last text for today it's a text that was awarded within the Panorama Literary Festival in India. Unfinishable 2, Shunya. I'm changing, not even knowing into what. Getting closer and closer to the zero, but never being able to reach it. I would so much like to take you with me, not even knowing where, not even knowing where from. For you are everywhere, where there is nothing but you, and the nothing you embody. My hands are shaking, my heart on my palm, when groping in the dark for your emptiness. Or maybe this heart isn't even mine. Or maybe this emptiness isn't even yours. A long time ago, I betrayed the one for 30.5 pieces of silver. I gave up approaching it, for I somehow felt there might have been you again, hidden in the same emptiness of yours, for I knew I would have never reached it either. I will keep the change. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us again. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. So always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. All right, before we go to feature point, just a timely reminder that in August, Blot is celebrating 3 years of being Blot, and we have an anthology coming out. So if you've been on Blot, and you are tonight for the first time, if you've been in one of our films, which some of you have been, please send me a poem and it'll go in there. Thank you.
I've been a very good boy and sent mine already.
Yeah, you have, yeah. You weren't first though, huh?
And Chris, my wife and I have been together 50 years. It's our golden anniversary next year. So we've been planning a holiday for next year. So that's something if we both survive that long, you know.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm 40 this year, so 40 wedding anniversary, so I haven't quite caught there. Anyway, let's go. Next up is a wonderful feature poet, is Damien Donnelly. He's a host and producer of the poetry podcast, the wonderful poetry podcast, Eat the Storms, editor-in-chief of The Storms, a journal of poetry, prose, and visual art. His debut pamphlet, Eat the Storms, published by the Hedgehog Poetry Press, nominated for a Pushcart Prize, featured on the Poetry Book Society Winter List 2021, followed by a Pushcart Prize nominated Stickleback Micro Collection, and in the Jitter Fritz of Neon, a conversational pamphlet co-written with the pronunciation Elian de Power. His first public collection, Enough, was published by Hedgehog in August 22. His poetries and short stories have appeared in numerous journals, online and print, and his second full collection is due out next year. So please give a wonderful Blot welcome to Damien Donnelly.
Ben, thank you so much. It's a real delight to be here. And what a sensational lineup so far. The diversity of topic voice has been absolutely incredible. So I feel really honored to be here and to share some Parisian poems with you all. So I'm going to share some poems from my full collection, which came out just last year, which was called Enough. As Finn said, it was published by the Hedgehog Poetry Press. So thanks to Mark Davison, and also a big thank you to Anna Saunders from the Cheltenham Poetry Festival, because she was my mentor for this collection. So I'm going to share some poems from the collection, but I'm going to start off with 3 ekphrastic poems, still Parisian. These 3 are going to be inspired by Marc Chagall. So I thought I will share a screen just for the first few, and then I'll come back to you midway through. So going to share screen now. There we go. Can you all see that screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Excellent. All right.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So this first poem is from a collection of poems that I'm working on that are all sequences. And this first one is the sequences of survival in Paris. It's called Blood Red Moon, after Le Champ de Mars by Marc Chagall. The moon is a red apple, pierced before the bite. Even the heart sacred lies heavy upon the back. Montmartre is a jungle after dark, as the crows feast on the bones. He brings her bouquets, memory seeds he does not know where to plant, that never grow into anything other than a halo he cannot bring himself to face. The devil is in the details. At dinner tables after dusk, as we sleep, unaware of how he picks our bones. So I moved to Paris when I was 22, spent 3 years living there, then moved to London, then to Amsterdam. And then when I was 40, I moved back to Paris for the second time, lived there for just over 5 years until I learned, I guess, how to say enough, which is why the debut full collection was called Enough. So when I was in Paris, there was a sort of a love affair also with the south of France, probably on the second time that I was living in Paris. During this time, my partner went from being my boyfriend to being my girlfriend. And so this poem refers to that. This is called Transition, and it's after Sunset, also by Chagall. They slipped south for a summer, coast instead of concrete, woke to cold tile underfoot as sun already burnt its form easy into the water, while she rubbed herself in rouge in a body that would never truly bleed. There were moments that were memories that could have been planted later, but he wasn't as hard as she wanted and found her edges still cut so far from the city. On the balcony of Avenue de Prado, he exhaled heavy streams of nicotine into a night air that seemed to capture them as displaced cloud, while she displaced herself again, lay back on a high and watched bouquets rise from between her legs and blaze like fireworks over the sea. And the final of the Chagall section is called Manimal. It took me, as I said, a long time to figure out that perhaps Paris is best enjoyed from afar, although she will always be my first love. So this is called Manimal after Le Soleil de Paris. Paris is burning, a fire at the center of what was once everything. We all go back to ash. A flame can only last so long. Cut a flower and the bouquet begins to count down. Let go of a balloon and the rouge refuses to return itself to the lie of a lip. We kiss by Point Neuf. In a summer not ours for the keeping, you were south and I too soft, yet to garner how to cut like concrete. Blue are the gargoyles when the lights go out. Even the river cannot hold the stars all night, so they toss cut flowers into her bed. We are forever condemned to the wrong sheets. I followed like a sheep, and you fucked like you wanted to get inside, to feel what it was like to fear. In the freeze before dawn's break, Eiffel shivers like a knife, ready to pierce its way into the heart of all things. Kings have blue blood, while the rest burn under his sun. So the collection enough, and so this is the front cover. This is a photograph that I took. This is myself, Mr. Long Shadow, standing on front of the Eiffel Tower, Le Tour d'Eiffel. The collection is broken down into a series of 6 sections. So we have the leaning in, the living, the loving, the moving, the leaning out, and finally the leaving. And this first poem that I'm going to read from the collection is called La Mère et le Petit Oiseau, so the mother and the little bird. This is my mother's first visit over to see me, and I suppose it's important to tell you at the outset that I am an only child, and I am also an adopted only child. So La Mère et le Petit Oiseau, for the mother. Sometimes the weakest are tossed out before their time, as if to test. When you're the only one raised in a bed of beginnings collected from other trees, you have to push yourself out or stay and choke. Young bird flees nest and no twig is long enough to bring him back. It's different concrete here, you said. When you came to collect observations of the new nest, as if considering the comfort of the ground, should I fall so far from origin? You pushed beak bitterly against the wrong twigs, thinner twigs, foreign twigs you'd never felt against your feathers, clawing at curiosities in the cracks, as if Paris's plumage needed pruning. When you finally stopped flapping and dusting and sticking tiny bits of tat into my early efforts at housekeeping, I took you one evening to the top of the tallest metal tree and drew for you a map of all the flights I'd planned to take and showed you the places I'd left markers to guide me home. So Paris in the early days, especially at the end of the 90s, it was very smoky. It was very muggy. I hadn't really seen it clearly. It was quite delusional. I had finished college. I had a degree in fashion design, and I thought I was off to be the next Jean-Paul Gaultier until I realized I'd never studied French. So things changed slightly. But weekends were usually spent in jazz clubs, especially in the Duc de Lombards in Châtelet, named after Duke Ellington. So this one is called Promises Made at Lombards. That haunting, that dance. We brushed soft shoe against hard surface. A pre-millennium stream of slow smoke. Jazz notes under low lights down at Lombard's with its wine by the bottle so that we swayed to those notes too complicated to catch hold of. We were saxophones playing pink elephants between the Duke's darkness and the white lights of the blinding dawn. Prisoners to the poison. We stepped across that floor, already haunted, devouring desire, before it was kissed by the ghosts we'd promised each other not to shake. And the final poem that I'm going to screen share with you is called 98 Boulevard de Montparnasse, or 98 Boulevard de Montparnasse. So this is the address of Le Select, which is a rather famous American bar restaurant in Montparnasse. Weekends in Paris were usually spent in galleries, and Sundays were usually reserved for either terraces and people watching, which is the Parisian pastime. You have to smoke, even if you don't want to, and you have to drink countless amounts of coffee. But sometimes they were spent in restaurants with myself and my dear friend Mary, where we would tell each other about our adventures, our conquests, tease each other about what we'd recently tasted. So this is 98 Boulevard de Montparnasse. We met often on Sundays. Too old for Le Capole, but nostalgic enough for a slow seat at Le Select. Wondering if it was Hemingway or our own Beckett who'd left the brolly on the stand. An unclaimed link to a time now meandered into myth, like we were. At times together, apart, same road, different direction, coming in to catch up over cuisine as traditional as the easy step of their formal waiter who oozed professional, but held friendly for the others after. We sipped on selected Sundays, quelques coupes de champagne, amid the outdated gentry with coifs and curled mustaches and curious colognes, sitting next to history hunters who wondered where Picasso sat and was the light right on their profile just in case. We too came in curious with odd colors, chords we'd been curating in sketchbooks, curious as to whether someday someone would wonder where we sat, would wonder if we were the owners of all those brollies they wanted to grab hold of in the hope they'd feel the weight of a purpose. We met often on Sundays, always sandwiched in between the heavy courses of foie gras and coulis d'agneau, and sipped champagne while serving each other accounts of our own liaison, watching to see if one aroused the demand of a dessert. So the next poem, Ça suffit, I'm actually going to share with you via a video. So Ça suffit means that's enough. This poem talks about rain and brollies, and one of the things about Paris, one of the things that I always seem to notice, I seem to feel, was that the rain came down in straight lines, like it didn't hit you in the face, it didn't bash against the window, it just hit you. It just fell straight on. So for this one, I'm going to share a video. I hope this works. It has music and sound, so if you can't hear any music and sound, you can give me a little holler. So hopefully this works. And this is called Ça suffit. I remember rainstorms and running through straight lines, flooding cobbled streets. Laughter carries louder under brawn, rises and falls back onto heads, onto faces, onto mouths like that rain, like lips, like tongues that taste of sweat and surrender, and that's something indescribable. That tiny space we save for later, when we admit to knowing while running that something was always missing. I remember rainstorm and running through all those shot Sundays of grey roux and terracotta pot, on steps that collected raindrops as if it knew already how much memory meant after, later, when the sun came out and there were no more brollies to keep us together. I remember a rainstorm and running along all those boulevards as if they were battlefields and the droplets were bullets. And I couldn't remember how to say that's enough in French. And so you're back to me. Thank you so much. So we've got 3 poems left. I'm going to leave you at my face for the final 3. So I moved back to Paris when I was 40. It was 2015. I moved there in the summer, and then I was there on Friday the 13th in November. So this poem is called Slow Moving Sorrow, Friday the 13th. In a supermarket on a Sunday in the 14e, on the 14th, in numb November in Paris, their Paris, our Paris, my Paris. People push grief in comfortless trolleys down shadowed aisles of silence. Strangers claiming their spaces in queues of slow-moving sorrow, in the wake of all we lost behind the light. In a supermarket in the 14th, on the 14th. as the numbers rise on a Saturday morning, a morning of mind-blowing numbness. There is nothing available on a supermarket shelf to replace the loss of what we lost in the night. So a couple of years later, I myself was just packing up my bags and getting ready to move back home. I'm from Ireland. Welcome to Dublin. This is Lusk in County Dublin, just by the edge of the sea. So I was getting ready to pack up my bags when I turned on the television and, well, this poem arrived. So this is called When Notre Dame Came Falling Down. I'd started packing up places and folding them into pockets of dried time when I saw her burning. I was to the north of her center at that time, upwind of the flames that were already ashes when they reached my tongue. I took communion there years earlier, taking the wafer onto that tongue that had yet to know the taste of ash. People came with novenas and cried as the stars turned on, as if caught by the fires below, and the river ran black, as if already in mourning. Say, come see Kilcan, it's in more, someone said. As I pulled tape over another packed box, the river would carry downstream till it forgot its way back. They all stood there by the Seine, where les bouquinistes sold fading books that smelt of death, while the ashes fell upon their heads, their eyes, their lips, and their tongues. And so there we were, the grieving and the leaving, open-mouthed, desperate for one last taste of what we had believed to be eternal. And so the last poem I'm going to share with you. So I left Paris, now living back here in Ireland, and have been here for about 3.5 years. Paris is Paris, you know, she's a beautiful city, as I said, possibly better to love from afar. She is built of concrete, and those corners can cut quite a lot when you're done visiting all the museums. But of course, she will always be, as I said, my first love. And when I first lived there in the end of the 90s, I used to walk along the Seine by Quai de Mégisserie, and I used to visit all the pet stores, because at that point they had lots of dogs that were in these little cages, and you'd go just to sort of pay them some attention, as everybody always did on a Sunday. It seemed like one of the other pastimes in Paris. Thankfully, they don't do that anymore. But I suppose that's where this poem came from. So this is called Quai de Mégisserie. And thank you, by the way, once again, everybody, for listening in, and I can't wait to hear everybody else read afterwards. There's a part of me there still, with you below the bridge, by the river, smiling. There's a part of me there still, with the water rushing, time flowing, by the bridge, drowning. There's a part of you in me still, regardless of time, breath, bridge, regardless of the water I drown in. There's a part of you. There's a part of me still watching the water, looking for reflections of where we lost our course. Merci beaucoup. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Ooh, that was brilliant. Thank you. Can't hear you, Finn.
That was wonderful.
How's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having problems. That's it. I'll go back again. Thank you, Damien. That was an enchanting, captivating set. That was absolutely. And right, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, can hear you now.
Thank you. Third time. Thank you. An enchanting, captivating set, Damien. Such a pleasure for you to be now part of the Blot family. Thank you very much indeed. It was an excellent, perfect set. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, we're just going to move straight on now. Yeah. We're going to welcome another Blot debutante, but not only that, he's first time he's ever done a Zoom show, not making him nervous or anything like that. Will you please welcome Jay?
He's brilliant.
Yeah. No, there's a distorted noise coming through. Try switching your camera off, see if that works, and do it. Yeah. No, it's still the same.
I think Jace suggested we go to the next poet and come back to him later.
Okay, yeah, okay, we'll do that. There we go. Antje, you're ready to go then.
This is a piece I wrote a while ago. How Scotland nourished me. When I came to Scotland last year, I was surprised by the food up here. Everything so delicious just by the name. Who would have known of Scottish food fame? My day started with breakfast nicely cooked. Haggis, of course, should not be overlooked. Bacon and loin are also a must, as well as an egg and toast with a crispy crust. I could also have chosen kippers or porridge, but my stomach said no more space for storage. I went out and about, enjoyed the sun, and sadly when the rain came, I had to run. For lunch, I was treated with soup and a sandwich, and a wee Scotch pie, a real tasty dish. Scotch broth, cocker-leekie, I could not decide. My meal was truly a culinary delight. For my sweet tooth, I had cake and sweets, and shortbread and chocolate as treats. I saw trees, wild herbs, and beautiful flowers. I was happy and I walked for hours. Later, mince and tatties was on the menu. I could not imagine a more perfect venue. The hills and the loch looked great. I just wanted to stay up late. Now, as you can see, Scotland nourished me. To finish the story, I can only say, what a wonderful day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Short but always welcome. Thank you. Therese.
Thank you. It's been great. Poetry's great. I have a lot of Trying to find them. Sorry about that. I have some of these, some people have heard, some they haven't. I might do screen share just to make it easier for people. Then I don't have to read haikus twice because you're reading them with me. So is this? The hollowing. Solitary, I take in the morning air. I look, lounge chairs, vacant on the deck I stare. Ocean spray covers my face, and every trace of sorrow gone, I sink deep inside of me. I remain. Nothing to see, wandering into the stillness. Nothing to say. Next one is lace curtain. Beyond the still light, still comes light, entices, resistance of the will. Light still comes, fecund in silence. Plum blossoms. I'm just going to read the haikus once. Plum blossom opens. I enter and eat its fruit. Both are conscious now. I like a haiku. I like a haiku. 7 words suck you in and end with a punchline. Poets haiku about AI. There's some difference between information and embodied language. The Amazing 3. This is about the USA, the Tennessee 3. Hey, what do you know? Tennessee is in the house and they won't let go. Lying cults. Geranium buds won't be seen by the children shot dead by AR-15s. The little deaths. Spring ignites fragrances, awakening, healing those turned from their sorrow. A haiku of love to poets. We make our words dance. How do we make the words sing? It's all bound in love. Poets' treasure trove, reaching inside our feelings, painting them with love. And I guess I'll read this brief one. This was inspired by Zumkanto, his question and answer. It's called Alive. My granddaughter's talking in the background, sorry. Your very flesh shall become a great poem. Walt Whitman said that after saying many other things. Grace, yes, grace breaks through, as you say. I will not find on this planet this time or place my one true love who awaits. Your words carry the wrenching of a grief-stricken heart as apart from love you seek relief. Yes, you know this is true, our belief that we are one, feeling the disgrace of living as two in this space as something new awaits. A transparent smile across your face erases measured responses to the questions emerging as we are submerging in the creations that bud like flowers. From our intuitions and imaginations, we search for ourselves with no need to be alarmed, to be disarmed by love. Moving to give voice to all you have carried in life, not delve unnecessarily. Co-creation blooming in time as we find our completion in love. That is her name. Represented in a flame and a dove and a burning bush, our treasure trove. Love, love is her name. Thank you. I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it was great. Thank you. That was her name indeed. Okay, we'll go back and we'll get a try with Jay once more. No. You sound like a Dalek, that's all we're saying. What a shame. Okay. All right, Jeff.
Okay, so the story I'm going to read, some of you have probably heard it before, but this one was a finalist recently in a Writers Union of Canada short prose competition. So they're going to submit it to a few relatively big magazines that wouldn't consider me otherwise. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's called The Madness East of St. George. Monday, July 9. The crowd has grown restless. Nowhere near so as I. We are in our 9th hour, and signs of progress are nil. Some fools hold on to their faith blindly. We'll be moving soon, they say. You just have to be patient. Others know as well as I that we are doomed, but they do not have the courage to say it aloud. Even I have kept mostly silent, but it has been a damned struggle. My groans and mutterings and constant staring at this filthy, sticky floor are seen as signs of common psychosis, but at least it keeps the others away from me. I cannot tell when I shall break. It could be in a minute, it could be in another 3 hours, but it will come. I know it well. It seems like a generation ago when we left the station known as Coxwell. Such a happy time it seems in retrospect. Coxwell. One was free at Coxwell. One could enter or leave at will. One could dream of happy times ahead, when one might emerge from the bowels of young and Bloor and see daylight, food, shelter, warmth, an infectious smile on a child's face. One could yearn for a lifetime of possibilities, but it was not to be. Cursed signal problems! Damn this transit ineptitude, which makes even the filth and decay of Lansdowne Avenue seem like an unreachable utopia. I once had a dream of arriving at my workplace and fulfilling my minimal daily tasks. How mundane that dream seemed 9 hours ago. Now I would chew off my own foot to attain it. I can feel the madness seeping in. Please, please let reason be my guide. Tuesday, July 10. It is morning. The luckier ones have slept in their seats. Others, such as I, have had to settle for the floor. An empty chocolate milk carton served as my pillow, but my limbs remain numb from the cold, hard metal. The stench of urine and excrement has increased significantly over the nighttime hours. All the while, the voice above us repeats the same message. We continue to experience a delay westbound due to signal problems, it says with infinite blandness and indifference. We apologize for any inconvenience. There was a time when such apologies were sufficient, but that time has long passed for me. I catch myself muttering curses and vows of vengeance under my breath. It is the madness. I pray to the God I do not believe in that the madness goes away. A child of about 3 years cries relentlessly at the other side of the car. The mother is feeding it butterscotch pudding from plastic cups she keeps in her backpack. The others stare at the child with murderous envy. Most, I am certain, have not eaten in nearly a day. I fasted in my youth, so I know I can withstand long periods without nourishment. I do not know if I can withstand the madness. Thursday. That's the subway thing happening. Thursday, July 12th. I sit and rock back and forth on the cold, filthy, urine-soaked floor as the others talk silently. Some talk of hunger. Some lament that their friends or families do not know where they are. A woman with epilepsy wonders if she is going to have a fit and what will happen if she does. A young man has finished reading his library copy of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck for the 4th time and has started it again, desperately clinging to sanity. Another young man expresses angst because his cell battery is dead and he does not have a charger. All the while, the unspoken message rings throughout the car. We are doomed! I have felt more hope during the bleakest of Beckett plays. And the intercom voice, a new one today, deeper and older, but with the same tone of disinterested malaise, continues to reassure us that our suffering has not gone unrecognized. We apologize for any inconvenience, it says, adding that shuttle buses are still operating between Woodbine and Donlands. To ride a shuttle bus! It sounds like the privilege of monarchs and gods. Perhaps that is merely the madness speaking. Some of the others express concern about the transit system's lack of reliability. They complain about the frequency of delays such as this one. Not everyone agrees. There is a young man with a nose ring and a snake tattoo who comes to the system's defense. Stop whining, you guys, he says. The TTC is a really good system for one that's so underfunded and limited. And delays aren't usually the system's fault, okay? Sometimes you have to, put up with a little delay now and then for a transit system that keeps riders safe and comfortable, right? Another woman tells him that her son has not eaten in more than 3 days, but the young man merely rolls his eyes. Geez, he says to her, just grow up. Friday, July 13. We have entered the 5th day of our ordeal, and the cannibalism has begun. It was the young man with the nose ring and snake tattoo, of course. Friday the 13th turned out unluckiest for him. The mother grew weary of his rebuttals and stabbed him in the heart with her knitting needle. So far, both of his legs, his left arm, and his tongue have been devoured. The others rush to consume as much of his meat as they can before the body begins to rot. Perhaps they are not all doomed after all. As for me, I cannot bring myself to partake of the feast. The stench of the bodily waste in the car has ruined my appetite. I wonder how the others have grown so accustomed to it. Were it not for the air conditioning, we would have all suffocated long ago. Still, I worry about the madness. Can my reason outlast this ordeal? Saturday, July 14. The young man has long been completely devoured. Only a bloody skull and rib cage remain in the seat where he once was. It has not been enough. The other residents we now seem to be, no longer mere passengers of this car, still complain of hunger. Yet all watch their tongues with care, lest they say the wrong thing and become the next meal. Who will it be? The elderly woman on the blue courtesy seat, who has little time left regardless. The teenage jock boy with the thick, brawny muscles. We wait. During the nighttime hours, as the foul stench and the numbness keep me awake and threaten to swallow my sanity, I lie and think about the old days. Sometimes I can barely remember them. They seem so distant, so untouchable now. Did I really see the outside world? Did I really live in an apartment? Were there really dogs and cats and birds and trees and flowers and other forms of life? Was there really such a man as David Hasselhoff? It all seemed so strange, too vast to have been real. I could almost believe that all of it was a mere dream, or a figment of an imagination too warped and vivid. This is reality right now, and I must accept it, or pay a steep mental price. Monday, July 16. I always knew the madness would win in the end. I am now the only living being in this car. The rest gone, struck down without mercy. The madness made me swipe the woman's knitting needle and stab them all in a screaming rampage. I believe some of them were even glad to die. It comforts me to know that I ended their pain. It was only moments after the final one expired that I felt the floor move, nearly sending me toppling over. The sound of wheels rolling on rails came from below. The train was moving again. And from above came the inevitable announcement. The delay we were experiencing has now been cleared and regular service has resumed. And so on. Then, our next station is Greenwood Station. So I am to be free again at last. For how long, I cannot say. At Greenwood Station, the riders on the platform stare in shock at the bloody mess in the car. They refuse to enter. Now a transit officer enters, takes one look at the corpses, and vomits on the floor. What have you done? He shrieks to me as I stand with a needle still in hand. I tell him I have done only what a week of being trapped in a delayed subway might drive any conscious being to do. A week? He cries. The fuck are you talking about? We were only delayed 5 minutes! He nearly vomits again as I peer at a cell phone still clutched in the hand of a nearby victim. Monday, July 9, it reads, 8:46 a.m. Strange, the ways that the madness can bend and shape time and perception. I could swear that it happened exactly as I've set it down in this log. But surely it must have. Otherwise, how could I have written this? I suppose they will lock me up and hold a trial. Let them, if they so please. I shall plead innocent, with this log serving as my key witness. Either the madness or reality itself is the true perpetrator. That was The Madness East of St. George, finalist in a contest and stuff.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Look what's happening here. I'm getting echo back. Shit. Right, we're going over. I'm getting echoes of myself, so we're actually going to go over to Jay, see if he sorted his sound out, while I try and sort my sound out.
Any better, folks? Oh, brilliant. Thank God for that. I knew the reason I never went online. I've learnt it now. Hello, good evening. I thought I'd do one about Paris, actually, for Damien, because this stuff moved me so much. It's not really about Paris. It's about love and sanctuary. It's called Esmeralda. Tinted green across the Seine comes a shallow flight of light as the monster in the stocks brace back, hunched in stalagmite. In her gaze, the broken body pricks his pity for her plight. Denizens Parisians circle round him, as do kites, prefer to scavenge than to avenge, then the flame in her ignites. Picks up pace through the assembly on the Isla de la Cite. As she runs, the legs find rhythm in the meter of the whip. Quasimodo knows no solace as he's thirsty, lost and stripped. As the cup dips in the fountain, water forged the partnership. Esmeralda held the vessel to the shelter of his lips. In the Place de Grève, much later, she will face the final drop. In the execution circle to the timbre of the raindrops, half formed the monster Caesar from the great cathedral top. And the rain reminds his conscience of the water in the stocks. In his rescue to the refuge, he returns her to the rock. I'm not agile on the turrets. I couldn't give a Notre Dame. As delighting as a gargoyle, I am yours to understand. Though I feel a Quasimodo, I am yours to contradict. And I'm sorry for forgetting about the water on my lips. Of all the things I promise you, the most important thing actually is that when you come in needing rest from all the world, I'll offer you sanctuary. So, well, that's the first online poem done, so not too bad. I'll read you a couple more quick ones. Here he goes. I'm a history teacher by trade. Kids always ask me what the thing is, the most important lesson from history. I always say it's the fact that we don't know what we don't know. So this is for my students. Free Lord Frith. Since Copernicus urged all of us to forget the sun went round the earth, invested thus Celestius, now Terminus, placed Helios in a heliocentric universe. The earth and planets in orbit sat as mobile spin like sycamore caps above the sleeping cots of sprats, changed minds through maths. Roll the welcome mat for ideas like that, but you can't put the rabbit back into the hat. The Aztecs and the Incas' Achilles heel mix ancient cultural metaphors a great deal, but I can't help but feel building temples topping mountains without the use of a wheel perhaps wasn't ideal. Carrying obelisks up Machu Picchu doesn't appeal. The Spaniards gave them food for thought. Imagine what shock and awe they got when conquistadors rolled in on chariots. Then all the pain they brought to all in ear and eye shot, to the sound of gunshot. The illusion of free thought with religion to be taught. It's true and you'll remember that. You can't put the rabbit back into the hat. And when Stephenson first built the rocket train and gained locomotivational fame, this all happened again. It was widely proclaimed that 30 miles an hour would explode the human brain. Or when Bannister dared to run a mile in 4 minutes for the first time on the planet, which no one else succeeded with for 1,000 years before this. Now the fastest human runner can shave 20 seconds from it. History's awash with things like that, and you can't put those rabbits back into the hat. Nelson Mandela will tell you from freedom's favourite son, it almost seems impossible until it's done. The world's no finished product, the gong hasn't gone. We don't know what we don't know, the battle's unwon. And here's a thought I had, which you should freely inhabit. If you fancy an idea, please go on and have it. No matter how ridiculous, reach out and grab it. Keep looking in your hat until you pull out a rabbit. Thank you. I'll do one more very, very short one, Finn, if you don't mind. Really, I mean, Damien was amazing. You're incredible. I'm coming back if you let me. This is just a very short poem for my 3 sons. I have three boys, and it's called Raising Cairns. I don't wish to raise you up on pedestals from which your feet can't find the ground. Let me raise you as I would raise a cairn. Let me take just one weight at a time and place it on you, judging the structure of your soul with care and knowing whether and when you can bear one more. Promise me that each of you will support the other as rocks in a cairn. Let me raise you that way. Let me raise you on mountaintops and beaches. Let the wind wish you well and the salt lick your wounds. Stand back and admire you and the view. Let me be grateful for both. Let me raise you to remember what's important, to remember people first, as markers of the past and promises to what's to come. Let me raise you to mark the trail for others. Let others be lighthouses and beacons. Let others be flags. You be cairns. Thanks, Finn. Much appreciated. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for persevering, Jay. Wonderful. Thank you. Great to have you here, and welcome to the Blot family. Okay. Marianne.
Yes. Thank you, Finn. It's really a pleasure to be back, and what a delight to listen to you, Damien. Thank you so much, everyone, for this moment. I'd like to share with you 2 poems today, The first is inspired in the last few days by a story I read recently, something I did not know, the story of a 10th century astronomer named Mariam al-Astrolabi from the city of Aleppo. And the poem goes like this: Astrolabe. Before I became a girl whose gaze searched for infinity, I walked with my father in the fragrant market, fingers interwoven like the knots of my mother's rug, eyes carefully fixed on the corrugated street that I would not lose my way among the spires that sliced the clouds. Maybe you do not know, my father named me for the sea and the ancient river that cradle the once shining city of my birth. Among all the drops that fill the oceans of the world, I always knew I was beloved, for I was allowed to hold the universe in my hands and look beyond the circumscribed fate of those who would become our daughters, toward the place where you can read my name indelibly written among the stars. The second piece perhaps carries on a little bit with the notion of resilience. Several friends are standing today on a kind of precipice, balancing life and relationships, and this poem is for you and for all of us. It's called Dawn of the Long Night. Now is the dawn of your long night. You stand on the edge of indigo water, jade green and tarnished with the skeletons of dreams that once scudded across its surface. You feel around inside your heart. You think you must be angry at the falling leaves for vanishing into the depths when you expected to admire them through every season. There's a part of you that yearns to plunge with them, but instead you stand and silently count the seconds, for every living thing must be returned in time, even joy, even love. You will be sad for a time, and I cannot tell you if that time may be forever. But in the days and hours where your heart breaks open, time will not forget you, but it will forgive. You will look into the dark mirror to see your lips moving in a language you did not think you knew to speak or could recall. With every generous word, rich earth will find crevices in which to gather. One day you will have a garden in which to plant anew. You may decide to let that ground lie fallow, but you will know it is there, and the rising sun will warm it unbidden, for it is yours and ever shall be. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful as all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is next month's feature artist. Please welcome Kayana.
Hi. Can you see me? Here we go. Hi, guys. Hope all is well. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever everyone is at. All right, here goes. Creativity. Please pass me the mic. I was once called creativity. Creativity, I say. That is who I am. Creativity, creativity, creativity. My naysayers, my haters, and my critics, they cannot control me, telling me who I am, telling me who I am. Creativity, creativity, creativity. That is who I am. Creativity. Different. I was born to be different. What man sees differently. I am different in a different way. I was born to talk different, look a different way. God said I am the head and not the tail. He said I'm above and not beneath. I was born to be different. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was different. Thank you, Kayana. See you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Gary.
Hello all. That was wonderful. Well, it's all been wonderful what I've heard tonight. Sorry to miss you, Kate. Anyway, I'll be brief. This is from, some of you might know Jenny Gray. We have written a play together called Milestones, and it's about sort of two slave runaways. So this is the opening piece. I was born, stillborn, a slave, an Englishman, not British. I was born a slave. Though fallen thyself, never to rise again, live and take comfort. Thou hast left behind powers that will work for thee, the air, the earth, and skies. William Wordsworth. I was born a slave. I breathe the air a slave. I will die a slave. I am a slave. Hands no longer cuffed, keys put away for a rainy day, no legs shackled together, but I still can't run away. You can hear the wolves chasing, howling at the moon, the dogs serenely curtsy to the icons. Their majestic peers, the right honourable noble wolves, they tango with the wolves. Arise and a fool, and arise and a fool, and a freckle, a melanger. Tango party with barking gauchos and wolves to get this party started white. A tango, a walk, a count to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The barking bitches adheres to the wolf's chest, howling alert. Wolves release the leashes, the massa release the lasses, giving the sense of the nigger bait. On your marks, get set, go! Straight out of the blocks. Power, drive, power, drive. First stride, power, drive, stride, power, drive, run, 10 meters, 20 meters, stay streamlined, power, drive, stride, streamlined, movement, hold down to focus, straight line, power, drive, stride, woof, woof, the dogs are on me, run, the black sparrows migrate south forever, leaving a strange fruit in the north to linger, not plucked, abused, undernourished. I am a bullet without a gun. Run, 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 nigger, run. 30, 40, 50 meters. My body rises towards the moon, the sun. Run, nigger, run. 60 meters is as fast as I can run. I'm running as fast as I can. I'm pumping, 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 pumping. I got to be first past the post. I can't be left. Arms, 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 arms. Pelvis neutral. Head looking towards emancipation. Posture tall. Foot strike to be underneath the center. Movement. Horizontal. Run, nigger, run. Woof, woof, woof. Snaggling up my ankles. I keep my forearm focused, head forward. Stop squinting at the sun. Run, nigger, run. 80 meters. My forms to go. Weight on my shoulders is like an ass carrying Jesus. I can hear the night demons awaking, egging the pack on to lick the skin of my black back. Wow, woof, woof. Within Skinner's box, Skinner's boots, blind, sparkling, saber teeth, bad or not, give they smell my blood. Run, a nigger, run. They smell fear seeping out of my derriere, head rolling side to side. I'm losing my focus, breathing turns to panting, heart rate increasing, legs speed slowing, crack, mouthing to transfer to salivating. The closer I get to the finishing line, the more those Churchillian dogs insidiously lick their lips at my black behind. Flies about to die, flies around the sloping shit. Run, nigger, run to the line. Torso lean forward, chest crossing the line. Running through, running past the demarcation. I, as a man of colour, keep on running to the next white line. Then on to the next one line, and to the next one, so on. And as Grandmaster Flash stated, my white lines go a long way on the White Line Highway.
Gary, wonderful. Nobody does it like Gary. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Oh, indeed. Okay, Suzanne.
Wow, I have to catch my breath. That was amazing. Okay. Can we be love? In these troubled times, are we closer to the roots as we witness a shattering of the old, as vaults of dark secrets are being cracked open? Are we relieved at times that scabs are being ripped off, that wounds and injustices can be seen and breathed these days? Is our buried grief being unearthed? Do we feel the unspoken laments of our ancestors as we let in the heartbreak of our abandoned sisters and brothers, our children who've been cast out for millennia? Is the inhumanity firing us up to love more? Can we show our tails, growl, howl, roar, let our hearts bleed openly, come out of hiding, yet real? What about Mother Earth? Can we see our greed and selfishness with raw eyes? See what we have stolen, what we have destroyed? Cry for her, help her. Are we able to see our oneness and commit to foster healing? Can we be love? Are we inspired to gather in the streets, at altars, in temples, at the sea, and become humble before the sacred? Serve our sorrowing world. And this last one is called Haunting Questions. Wrong glasses. Your life, your death by your own hand. Were you a gossamer winged child who felt the world too hard, too cold? Were there holes in you where mother love should have been? Were you clay others tried to mold, a paint by numbers painting, when you ached for raw, primal strokes of love and true feeling? Did you seek across continents, unable to find a sweet spot for yourself? Did you long for a land where motherless children are scooped up at the faintest scent of fear, where lies are left at the door and the wounded are cradled in circles of care? My mind seeks a place to put you, a safe port, so the gnawing will stop. Life won't give me that today. I sit at times in deep peace, everything in its right place. Other times, agitation, rage, tears. I sit with this fierce gift from you, the sacred mystery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking away with that. Thank you very much indeed, Suzanne. All right. Hey, it's been a while. Mr. Poetastic. Is he here? Eddie, are you ready? He's here, but not paying attention. Okay. Clive.
Hello. Okay. I've got two. One is absolutely brand new. Nobody's heard it yet. I haven't even read it out loud, so hopefully it'll work. The second one is almost new. There's a couple of people. Actually, is there anybody here that's heard it? Probably not. So the first one, anybody that's sort of seen me performing recently knows that I recently did a poem called How to Apply for a Job That You Don't Actually Want, which was a typical silly me, absurd thing. And this is sort of the opposite side of the coin. This is somebody replying to someone who's applied for a job. Dear Mr. Big Shot, thank you for your application to be head of IT. I don't normally reply to unsuccessful candidates. I like to leave them wondering and play with their minds because I'm a sadistic bastard. A bit unprofessional, I know, but I retire next year, so fuck them. I thought you deserved a reply though, because you do seem a bit odd. The thing is, I found you on Facebook, and if you don't mind me saying, not only do you look a little bit like Nigel Farage, but you strike me as someone who would only change your underclothes twice a year. That in itself wouldn't stop us employing you. Some of the managers here stink like skunks, but we ran your signature past our retained graphologist, and she said you are almost certainly a psychopath with poor personal hygiene. I shouldn't really be telling you that, as her conclusions should remain confidential, but fuck them. I retire next month, and honestly, it is a key asset in this business. I did keep trying for you because they are considering promoting an absolute bellend with halitosis, but our astrologist said not to touch you with a barge pole because Saturn is up your anus or some such bollocks. Again, that's supposed to be confidential, but I think you deserve to know what the pricks are saying about you, and as I retire next week, I say fuck them. Finally, they Googled you and discovered that you molest pigs and claim to be David Cameron. This sealed your fate, as no one in their right mind would pretend to be David Cameron. There's no wrong with bestiality. I engage in it myself sometimes, but for fuck's sake, dude, David Cameron? Really? I shouldn't have disclosed this, but I resign tomorrow, so fuck the bunch of pigs, if you'll excuse my language. Good luck with the job search, and don't worry. I made most of this up because I thought it would be funny. I hope I haven't caused you too much distress. Well, I may have made that up too, so fuck off. So that's that one. I do like writing these letters, and yeah. So the second one is again a bit of a reversal of what I normally do. Anybody that has endured my poetry, or whatever you want to call it, knows that I've had problems with people changing the letters around on my keyboard so that what I'm typing is not actually what I'm intending to type. And, you know, you've heard my poems that have gone wrong in that respect. And this, I got fed up with it because it kept happening. I don't know how or why, because as I've said before, I live on my own and, you know, I'm ginger, what do you expect? And, you know, I don't know how it keeps happening, but it does. So I thought, okay, I've had enough of this. So what I actually did was the next time I wrote a poem, I used speech recognition and dictated it into my phone. Unfortunately, I did it when I was a bit drunk. And obviously I wasn't speaking very clearly, and it seemed to mix up the f sounds with the k sounds. So this is when f sounds and k sounds get confused. I am a big fan of music. I enjoy most genres from classical to hip hop, though I have to confess I'm not a fan of country music. Of course, I like Rachmaninoff and several classical composers. Beethoven's boring due to the lack of k and f sounds, but Tchaikovsky was okay. Of the pop and rock icons, I like Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles best. Lennon and McCartney wrote fantastic songs. Some say McCartney is still great. I beg to differ. I think some recent performances have been catastrophically awful. Do you like Farmer Familian by Fulcherflob, London Falling by The Flash, or When Doves Fry by Prince? Myself, I play piccolo and flute, but I'm not great with keyboard instruments, and I certainly couldn't sing in a choir. My favourite foreign band is The Fillers, led of course by frontman Brandon Clowers. I like Arctic Monkeys too, though the last couple of albums have been frap. I like football, or soccer as Americans call it. I support Birmingham City. They too are frap. I wish Jurgen Klopp was their coach. Talking politics would involve talking about Kwasi Kwarteng thrashing the pound, or Keir Starmer replacing Jeremy Corbyn as leader of the Labour Party, so cough that. I love comedians such as Ronnie Barker. That's very tuneful, whoever that was. Mute you fuckers! I love comedians such as Ronnie Barker and John Flees. I was itching to say that. And I like foofing. I'm a good foof, and once considered becoming a celebrity chef. So much better than hard, dirty work. Though they do say, where there's moth, there's brass. I don't buy that. Now, my ambition is come I show to make Edinburgh cringe. On a lazy day, there's nothing better than a cup of fucky. Sometimes black fucky, sometimes fucky with milk. Nice with a fawn beak sandwich and a piffled onion. My mind is keyboard and shallow. I can't folk with philosophy. I don't understand Descartes, for example. I think, therefore I am. What the cuff does that mean? I went on an anti-monarchist protest march on Coronation Day, got arrested and hand-fucked by the foppers. Cuffing bastards. Never trust a fopper. And God save the thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clyde. Thank you. You got there. You got there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Right. Okay. He's ready now, Ed.
Hello, my bro, like no other with words like thunder. Thank you. Hello, my name is Ed Potastic for Fantastic. Please gonna tell him to join my rhyme for awful sublime. I got one, so you know it's gonna chime. The first chime is they have landed. They have landed to the American people. The aliens have landed. They look advanced and evil. Oh my God, look heavy-handed. The crate coming down. UFOs come in the skies. They're not making any sounds. Oh my God, the darkness in their eyes. Look skinny and frail. They want to meet our leader. I'd say more, but I mean Taco Bell. Oh my God, they are paid a meter. They seem to be doing a moonwalk. There's some stellar moves. Oh my God, they can stand and talk. Hope our bond can improve. It appears a God moved on towards them. Oh my, it's the Confederate flag. Oh my God, looks American and dim. Let us pray if he doesn't brag. He said, we don't like your kind here. Oh my God, the Grayling had read his blaster. Oh my God, man, cover your rear. Looks like a huge disaster. I know what you're thinking. I'm not doing a freaking ding. My patience is shrinking. The gray alien tempered held by a string. The gray alien blasted the sky. Dim Jim ran and hide. I felt like I almost died. With a crazy and unbelievable ride. Out of the sky came Godzilla. Now Brandon stomping about. Why could it be Gilla the gorilla? Oh no, everybody scream and shout. Everybody's panicking. Oh boy, what can go wrong? Oh no, King Kong, aka the Monkey King, looks crooked and strong. Instead of being mad with billboard, it reads, Kong versus Godzilla, place your bets. Oh my God, people come in herds. Hey, Hong Kong, everything is here, including my vest. There's something related, but send cash to my cash app. My life is there just like you. Come on, show some love where it's at. I want to order something for Jamba Joe's. I know I should be scared, but who doesn't want to get rich? Screw the gecko. Go Kong. Make that giant gecko your bitch. Oh yeah, come the gong. Godzilla rushes to Kong. God, why did I buy popcorn? Come on, you big ape. Don't take too long. Siri, I said how to make popcorn, not porn. King Kong swing Godzilla around. Led by Skelly tail. It's like one big freakish merry-go-round. In straight detail. Kong, aim for electric rails. Godzilla's getting angry. Oh my God, smoke is coming from his mouth. Oh my God, here comes the atomic bomb, frankly. Frank, he looks like me, eating a blade of Brussels sprouts. Godzilla's breathing a huge bang. Mr. King Kong by hair. I know it just steam. Godzilla, that was cheating and unfair. Wait, where are you staring at? Billboards for donuts and burritos? Don't stare in there, look at that. They stop falling. Oh my God, I'm gonna explode. Oh my God, Godzilla's giving me the finger. I need a giant robot ASAP. You big, cold-blooded stinger. I can't believe I saw that. Now they're holding hands. They're probably getting something to eat. I don't really understand. What happened to the brawling heat? Don't go away. I bet everything on you. I pray on this day. Hope my credit doesn't go higher than the moon. What happened to the great aliens? A sign that says, Earthlings, I owe you. Oh my God, so much chaos has transcended. What are we possibly going to do? Thank you.
Hope I,
I didn't expect that, man. Thank you. Cheers, mate. That would woke you up if you were sleeping. All right. Hey, you've got to follow that, Gustav, man.
Okay. I have two pieces that form the Franglais suite. They are in French, and I will present them in French and in English. Franglais, langue d'amour, the language of love. Bon, alors, allons-y. J'ai habité à Paris 1977-78 dans la banlieue à Neuilly-sur-Seine, tout près du bois du Boulogne. J'avais 12 ans et 13 ans quand j'y étais. Je suivais les cours dans un lycée français, le lycée Saint-James. C'était un château de chasse de François Ier. J'avais une petite amie française qui s'appelait Karine Neufjean. Elle adorait les mathématiques et moi, je l'aimais. C'est Karine qui m'a introduit à Pink Floyd Animals une journée quand on a fumé le haïchiche, moi, pour la première fois. Elle m'a donné ma première baiser cette journée aussi, sa bouche tendre et attrayante. And the rocket's red glare. Je ne t'oublierai jamais, Karine. Merci, ma chère belle fille. And you know that I care what happens to you. And I know that you care for me too. Okay, let's go. I lived in Paris, France from 1977 to 78 in the suburbs of Neuilly-sur-Seine, very close to the Bois de Boulogne. I was 12 and 13 years old when I lived there. I was a student at a French lycée, the Lycée Saint-James. It was on the grounds of François I's hunting chateau. I had a girlfriend named Karine Neufjean. She adored mathematics, and I adored her. It was Karine who introduced me to Pink Floyd Animals one day when we smoked hashish, me for the very first time. She gave me my first real kiss that day. her mouth tender and inviting. Allons, enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. I will never forget, Karine. Thank you, ma chère belle-fille. And this piece is called L'absurdité franglais, une amuse-gueule. Plutôt, je dirais, fous le camp dans le marais. L'emmerdeur, tu me fais chier. Va te faire foutre avec ton plié. Je te connais. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Je te connais quand même pas. Ferme ta gueule, espèce de con. Je n'aime pas du tout le ton, mais changez donc le poisson. Je t'adore de toute façon. Non pareil dans l'espace. Tout perdu, ma sagesse. Fais gaffe à toi avec la classe. Bien sûr, personne ne prend ta place. Mange maintenant le foie gras. Excité dans mes bras. Dans mon cœur, tu vivras pour toujours, juste comme ça. Ça plaint pour moi, ça plaint pour moi, ça plaint pour moi, moi. This is a French absurdity. Often I would say, get the hell out of the marais. You shit, you piss me off. Go fuck yourself with your guff. Would you like to sleep with me? I don't know you. Let me be. Shut the fuck up, you fucking fool. Your tone is not too cool. Fish or cut bait today. I love you anyway. Unrivaled in this space. All is lost in my face. Be careful now with that bass. No one can ever take your place. Are you immune to my charms or excited in my arms? In my heart you live on forever and ever, never gone. It once was dark, but now's the dawn, 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 dawn. Thank you. Merci.
Bravo,
Bravo,
bravo.
bravo.
All right.
All right.
Leonard.
Okay. I am not going to try to read anything in French. My college instructor in the language taught us how to write French and how to read it, and never lost his Scots brogue despite 3 degrees from the Sorbonne in the French language. So there wasn't a whole lot of verbal teaching in that. It was interesting. The fall of Paris. We'd been to the clubs that night, letting the world know we were lovers. This was Paris. Spring was 1940, and heads didn't turn to follow us because we were 2 women embracing, but because we were beautifully young. We must have been young, my dear. How else could we have found ourselves dancing on a rooftop parapet, looking down as if it were nothing, 10 lofty stories to the sober Sunday street below? How else could we find each other? This memory doesn't end in disaster. You didn't fall, nor obviously did I. It ends instead in common tragedy. The Germans came to us in June. I went to the countryside, the resistance. You stayed in Paris, a Jewess. Paris after all the wars. A couple stands kissing in the doorway down the street from the Four Seasons. The man in the well-tailored tuxedo leans on a balcony above the boulevard as though captured by Caillebotte. Young revelers dance by the Seine to the sounds of a makeshift band. They are not us. They never were. Still, you marvel at their happy lives. Young women of the night stand in the shadows across the street from a doorway near an emptying laborer's tavern. The rough-dressed children dance a ring around the rosy on a flat roof. A war widow sells flowers from a bridge near Notre Dame, looks down to the boats crowded with wealthy tourists. We are invisible. We always have been. And you will now forget you heard this. And finally, moving out of Paris to Deauville. After Lelouch's film, A Man and a Woman. They were on the fishing boat's fantail, and he was having difficulty lighting his cigarette in the sea breeze. Remember the scene? She opened her coat for him and he quickly leaned in, using it to block the wind. Is that when they started to fall in love? Except, I don't know if we start to love, or if it's just there in the heartbeat needed to open two selves to guard the flame together. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Leonard. Thank you once again. Always a pleasure to have you here. Hello, Anna.
Hi, right. This is not about Paris at all. So it's called My Mother and Mother-in-Law, which is dedicated with love to Doreen, size 18, and Joan, previously size 20, but now size 14. My mother and mother-in-law are carefully curating my late middle-aged body as though Miss World's talent scouts might take a run at me in Catford Market, squashing my overripe avocados and appraising my hourglass to see if it's still ticking. Arriving at Doreen's to blitz the house, mow her lawn, put out the bins, listen to her anecdotes, and nurse her bunions, I am commanded to take a step onto the scales. Invitation ignored. Still, she speculates on the heftage, like we were doing a guess the weight of the cake contest. My sponge has a very saggy bottom. At 8 a.m, she was distressed I was lolling about on the floor, doing yoga to make me stronger and less fat. I didn't say you were fat, but you may have read my mind, said she. Meanwhile, Joan has different tactics. In the charity shop, she broadcasts as I am rifling through the rails. Is that an extra large coat you are looking for, Anna? My daughter-in-law moves about so much, she should look like Twiggy instead of. She shut up before she said Hattie Jakes, but I could read her mind.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful. We're getting another one there, but thank you very much indeed. Yeah, I love that. I read it obviously when you sent it to me, and it's wonderful. All right, Jude.
Yes. My internet's playing up a bit, so I hope it survives for these two poems, which are both poems that I did not find a place for in my last collection. So they're not the most recent, but I realized recently that perhaps they had a connection with each other, at least. So the first one is called What Remains. Black moon against a scarlet sky. On a desert street, I am parched, my skin's refrigerated. Shivering through siroccos of sand-filled air, I crawl in place, an alternative to migration. You appear. We sit in the street and eat desiccated figs. We drink ice water. Salt crusts our lips. What remains between us? Unless we can describe our remains or bury them, you, I, we can never leave. Nakedness has not prepared me to be silent. Unhomed beyond our pale imagining, what remains but tenderness? When a book is opened with a knife, slice by slice. A scimitar of light falls on every unveiled page. Lines rake straight as lashes on an ivory cheek. Thumbs press into space where margins meet. Spines crack, stitches break. When a book is bent into an arc, cover, kissing cover, lines distend. When a page gets gouged by margin scribbles, words dribble into gutters, paper shreds. When a binding's weak, pages fail to separate, or loosened, fall leaf by leaf to mulch, sentence death. When objects deconstruct, books are fact, but thought remains. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Stu. Wonderful, wonderful as always. Just all right, Joe.
First one I'd like to do is called Benidorm. Ben spends his time taking pointless holiday photos. He sees the world through his phone's camera lens. Jets off on economy flights, last minute ready to go. Cheap suntan cream and some euros, shorts and sandals stuffed into a bag. He laughs if you mention his carbon footprint. He thinks recycling is unnecessary. That climate change is part of a conspiracy, dreamed up by hippies and communists and entrepreneurs who sell rubber rings. He recently left his second wife and their child alone in their one-bedroom social housing flat. They waited at home expecting his return. She only realised that morning that he wasn't coming back. She doesn't speak much English and couldn't ask. While she feeds her son from an almost empty breast, Trev sits on a bus heading west, to West Midlands Airport to be precise, where he wants to catch a last-minute flight to Benidorm, where he has a job as a tour guide. He hopes his wife can keep the tenancy for the flat, so that he has somewhere to live when he gets back, when the tour guide contract ends in September. But he heard that he could maybe meet a gullible asylum seeker and set her or him to work on the street. That way he wouldn't have to return to his wife in the damp and cold of a British winter life, or the cries from her and the possible other child that might have been born in his absence. So he thinks it would be better to hole up in Benidorm a while. Meanwhile, the bus is speeding along the motorway, putting miles between him and his responsibilities. Not that he ever felt that he had any to be concerned about. And now he was thinking that, actually, he might be better off without him anyway. Thank you. And the second one, if I've got time for three, I would like to read three. The second one's called The Problem with Secrets. The problem with secrets are the lies, because the secret is the truth that lies try to hide. And the truth is desperate to confess and to confide. The problem with secrets is the need for allies to help suppress confession and understand the covert signs and the secret language that exists to support them. The problem with secrets are the complications and the concern to never lose the covert signs or the secret language that keep the secret safe. The problem with secrets are that they create vulnerability, an Achilles heel that needs to be disguised, usually dressed as normality with more lies. Sooner or later, the lies are exposed and the truth will out and stand on its own, while the wounded are left standing in the aftermath like ghosts to wonder how they missed the signs and ask themselves, who lied the most? Thank you. And can I read the third one?
Aye, go on then.
It's called The Face on the Wall. It's the one I submitted for the anthology, so I thought I'd give it a little airing. Lovely. Seen for a while. Father, I miss you. I want to be with you, just to talk for a while. I have lived half my life since you left in the night. We never got round to goodbyes. There is so much I would ask you, need of you, and tell you, if you came here to stay for a while. But the nights drag on, and the songs grow long. I look in the mirror and I ask, who was wrong? But there is no reply from the face on the wall. Father, you loved me, you thought that you knew me, but you never knew me as a man. I have travelled and learned, I have sought and discerned, as you taught me before you moved on. And the most precious gift that you gave as you left was how to show mercy and hate. And the nights drag on, the songs are long. There is no sign of heaven and no sign of morn, and there's still no reply from the face on the wall. Father, please visit. I would like us to sit. I just want to reach you somehow. The last words that were spoken were jagged and broken. It's time to repair them just now, before I get older and weaker and slower, while I have the worst to relay. But the nights drag on, the songs are so long, the solitude is painful once darkness falls, and there's still no reply from the face on the wall. Father, you told me once when you were with me that you could not hear of my life. I vowed not to shame you, embarrass or pain you. I hid that which should have seen light. I need you to see me. I need you to hear me, all of me, right, unashamed, because the nights drag on and the songs have grown long. I look in the mirror and I ask who was wrong, but there's still no reply from the face on the wall. Thank you. That's me.
Okay, thank you, Joe. It's a very moving poem. Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Back to Singapore now. Sylvia.
Hi everybody, now it's almost 5 a.m. and I see Jennifer there and I'm happy to see her. Okay, I read an old poem. It's called The Street Where I Live. This is part of my childhood when I was 15 years old and I live in a kampong called Block Road. When I was 15, one fated morning at 5 a.m., Ahua was shouting, molest, molest. The Hemlock villager came alive with poles as if going to slaughter a pig. The molester disappeared in thin air. He had left without a trace. Our father promises to break a leg of the molester if he can catch him. Just a minute. Okay. The tuk-tuk man was doing his round. My mother ordered 2 packets of meatball, enough to feed a family of 8. After school, I carried the curry puff and sago pudding selling in the kampong. The night soy carrier, chubby and happy, came its usual round. The vaccine toilet with a big hole. I peek through the hole to see if anyone is watching me. The tortoise swimming in the well underneath the cherry tree in the Havelock compound style. The 100 flowers Kingway or cactus flower open and display its crowning glory to the delight of the compound folks. On the lazy Sunday morning when I doze off, my mother shouted, "Martha coming, Miss Police is coming to catch you. Quickly finish your homework or I will cane you." Here is a review. Review by my good friend Lao Ji Singh. Your above writing is excellent. It is characterized by your knowledge of the life in the past in Singapore. This gives you your writing is unique signature. Marvelous job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. Once again. All right, we're down to our last 4 readers tonight. And there you go, Two-Tone Gerald. On you go, sir.
Yeah, I put the beat on for Clive. Since we're in Paris, I'll start with this ekphrastic poem. This is a poem about the Mona Lisa. It only works if you haven't seen it or have forgotten what it looks like, so she doesn't catch you unawares with that annoying grin of hers. This is a poem about the Mona Lisa. I'm searching out her spirit, yanking it out from behind bulletproof glass, gawping crowds and the grubby overpainting of a landscape. This is a poem about the Mona Lisa. It isn't intended to be clever or complicated. It's an attempt to elicit feelings from a place which the public have forgotten to look at. This is a poem about the Mona Lisa. I read it at a poetry reading on Mars because on Earth it doesn't quite work. This is a poem about the Mona Lisa. I'm still not sure if she's happy. My ekphrastic poem about the Mona Lisa. And the thing is, you know, when you get it, you ever have that frustrating thing? I'm giving 2 more poems, and you have that frustrating thing where you go somewhere like Paris and you can only stay a day and you miss the joy of it, or you go to London and you can't actually get to see it, or you know, somewhere. So this is a poem about that experience, and it's called Swindon and Back. I went to Swindon to see the sights. I should have been there a week by rights, but I came back from Swindon the very same night and was sad for the rest of my life. I went to Swindon to enjoy the town. I'd got some holiday written down, but I didn't stay long. I came home with a frown and was blue for the rest of my life. I went to Swindon to relax and chill. I'd been meaning to go, so I said I will, but I was overwhelmed and missed the thrill and was down for the rest of my life. Some people say I should have stayed longer. Some say my reaction couldn't have been wronger. Could rhyme there. But my urge to go home turned out to be stronger. I must live with that for the rest of my life. Next time I go, I'll take the wife so she can enjoy Swindon too. Wouldn't you? At the end of that one. So that's my poem for Swindon, which is a great place, really, I'm sure. And if I've got time, I'm going to finish with a poem about ancient Troy, of course. And this is called Cassandra Goes Shopping. And if you remember, Cassandra was doomed to prophesy, and nobody would ever believe the truth. Nobody would ever believe her. This is Cassandra Goes Shopping. It's a new one. I saw Cassandra in the shopping mall. All the other shoppers were having a ball, buying records from HMV, buying sneakers from the shoe factory, smiling on the escalator trip. Only Cassandra wasn't hit. Darla's dishwater dirty frown when everything's buzzing in Happy Town. Come on, Cassandra, don't be blue. We've got some purple pants for you. We've got nectar from the gods in the McDonald's shack. They even give you a plastic toy back. We've got endless music to make you smile, credit card offers heaped in a pile. Come on, Cassandra, everything's good. Amy Stewart singing Knock on Wood. See, I saw Cassandra in the shopping mall. She passed me by and made me feel small. Have you forgotten your shopping bag 3? Come on, Cassandra, look at me. All I want is to let you know we've got chicken for $1 and fries to go. Where the backs... Oops. See, Cassandra passed me and I clean forgot. Last time we met was in the parking lot, where the backs of the shops are wooden ply and men in donkey jackets saunter by, where lights are dim and the lifts all smelt. Seemed like that was the life we were dealt. $1 for $1, dime for a dime. Cassandra comes shopping one more time. Cassandra comes shopping, please don't go. What the hell does Cassandra know? See, I saw Cassandra in the shopping mall. I was stooped over and she walked tall. So many bags carry my stuff. Cassandra doesn't know you can't have enough, 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 enough. Cassandra doesn't know you can't have enough. You can't have enough in life of things. Thank you very much. That's me.
Thank you very much. You can't have enough of Gerald either. Thank you. All right, Terry.
Hi, how are you? I only have one piece because it's taken too long. It's just I don't want to drag it out. Okay, so this was from a prompt, right? About something seemed incomprehensible to you when I was younger, but has taken shape or made sense now that I'm older. Everything you always wanted to know about sex but was afraid to ask comes to mind. I attempted to read words I never encountered before, like penis. As a child, I got into my mother's books and I was always biting off more than I could chew. As I rummaged through, I encountered many things that I didn't understand or scarred me for life when I finally realized what I was seeing. Like the time when I first walked in on my parents having sex. Why were they naked? Why was my mother standing on the bed? Why did I open the door? Damn my questioning mind. After which my parents knew that they must get stronger locks on the door. As I grew, it became clear what shaped me as an adult and how my unstoppable nature was a force to be reckoned with. Thank you, that's me.
Thank you, Sarah. I love you come into the room and take us all like that. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Penultimate, Nema.
Thank you. First poem, Writing on Reefer. The tap-tap of keyboards, trails, spill from the mind, imagination ablaze, a brainstorming haze, ideas plucked and refined, thoughts and words interweave, the block dissolving, expression evolving, Kerouac emerging from the weeds, infrequent gulps of dark, sharp sourness, sickly sweet with a dash of cream, a tug at the conscious stream, snowy ribbons drift up to the corniche, a searing marigold flare, the subconscious seeping out of confinement to chart and captain the assignment, drifting with the flow of the flare, singing life is but a dream, siphoning the heart of emotion, bleeding in eloquent motion, born of flight of fancy's gleam, times Roman, castigating on white, jet accuse, I muse, plucking strands of psyche for my playful delight. The moving finger writes, and having writ, lands the plane on the strip, doused in earthy Columbian sips, mulling over the letters the mind submits. Thank you. And the second poem, Brooklyn Tangiers. Petit déjeuner in Tangier, with the sea in view, runny eggs on toast topped with cheese, green olives, fresh orange juice, and cafe nos nos, smiling conspiratorially as I light a marquise, languidly lounging by a novelty telephone box, silently eating, watching me, watching you. Your eyes tenderly betray the words unspoken. They are not needed when your mannerisms paint a picture. The sweetness we savor, grown in the sun, lovingly squeezed by the hands who generously fill the pitcher. Our glass is laden, delightful on the tongue, unfazed by the waiter's clattering commotion. The dimmed space, graced by filaments of natural light, the hanging lanterns above, like upside down gold leaf coffee cups. Swirls of shadow and light stroke your face. Conversation gushes and sputters, jointly candied and tart. Our stares meeting and greeting, abuzz with the taste. Our legs secretly brushing under the table, out of sight. The nourishment one usually so thoughtlessly breezes through, fills so memorably, replete with the body's expression. In the glances we make no effort to hide. Café Noir strokes your lips, percolated to perfection. In the distance, traffic honks impatiently outside. In the richness of each other, we simmer and brew. Thank you.
Bravo, thank you very much. Thank you. Right, we now come to the last read of the night. Rez. Ian, it's you.
Oh, hi. Yeah, how's it going? Oh, wow. That French piece earlier, whoever did that, that was absolutely brilliant. I mean, that just knocked my socks off. That was really, really good. Really great as well, David, to hear what you just done. That was, yeah, really liked it. Okay, couple here. These oldish ones when I just started writing. First one's about love. It's called Love's Breath. It's a bit cheesy. Here we go. The sun sits low, resonating its gentle glow. Sleeping trees smile with glows of autumn embers. Souls fused manifest in footsteps. Those boots glide through bronze leaves, ambling contentedly in perfect synchronicity. They erupt in blissful flutters as love breathes quiet whispers. Her gentle speech resonates a smile. Seduced by words from the siren's call, he embraces her with love's vocal play. Weaving words interlock with passion, they dance in the breeze with affection. Tonight, again, nature sleeps, while souls share dreams, for their love is deep. That's the first one. The second one, it's called Summer Sabbatical. This is like a really, really old one as well. Don't know, I just kind of quite like it. I look at it now and I think, right, I want to change it, etc., etc. But yeah, you know, this is what I written at the time, and yeah, keep it as it is. The moon stands proud, greeting jeweled fingers caressing guitars, while dusk weaves its gentle shroud across the shoreline below. The night is clear, yet smiles gently through the sapphire stars, as waves crash while embers crackle yet show their gentle glow. Friends talk as lovers lock eyes, as smiles pervade the misty cigars. For we laugh, grateful within the unyielding happiness we sow. I hear melodies weave with banter, for tonight we are superstars, while dancers throw playful silhouettes on sandy canvases below. Shadows enlarged by gentle flames as tourists watch from nearby bars, looking on with charmed faces while sipping their beers and Bordeaux. As the coast wakes to flickering neon as traders build their bazaars, coloured racks appear with spices arranged by gliding hands in happy flow. With senses alive, I embrace the gentle ripples within my mind's memoirs, away from the past, but happy with newly acquired memories that I know. My mind's celluloids, a fresh mosaic of friends, faces, beaches and bars. Come dawn, I'll glide the highway roadshow with Bowie through my audio. Thank you very much. That's all we've got for you tonight.
Okay, thank you, Ian. And wow, another great Sunday in the bag. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you to all these people for just making my right perfect. I just love my Sunday blots. Thank you, Damien, for a wonderful, wonderful feature set. Thank you, Jay, for sticking with us and getting your Zoom debut. And thank you to other people who come to my blot on Zoom for the first time, although they've been in my films before, but always a pleasure. The next one is on the 2nd of July. Check calendar. Yep. Where Kiana, the artist, is the feature. And that's all. Thank you very much again. Thank you for staying up, staying in, staying with us. May words never fail you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Finn.
Thank you so much, Finn. Good
Thanks,
night.
Finn.
Yeah, thanks, Finn.
Thanks,
Right,
Finn.
guys.
Brilliant.
Cheers, bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Finn.
you.
Damien, you're brilliant. Fantastic.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.